Welcome to the next part of the Building and Other Construction Worker Central Rule 1998. Actually, as it contains near about 5 parts in the Central Rule, then 30 chapters and 252 rules, and I also have 12 schedules and 26 forms, and that is why this Central Rule becomes lengthy. But it is appreciable work, it is a useful work as far as the building workers are concerned, and that is why we must go through these types of sections or rules that may be under the Building and Other Construction Act 1996, or it may be a Central Rule 1998, because unless and until we go through all these types of sections and rules, we never have the idea what exactly the facilities, what exactly the rules and regulations, what exactly the boards, their powers, their members, etc. All these facilities are available with reference to the legislations, right? So the chapter 7 gives you the idea regarding the lifting appliances and gear. So with reference to 55, construction and maintenance of lifting appliances. So we have already discussed about this lifting of material, lifting of object, and lifting of building workers. So all these lifting facilities or the activities are done with the lifting appliances, and construction of these lifting appliances, the maintenance of these lifting appliances must be done regularly. So whatever the parts of that lifting appliances, that may be a drum, that may be a pulley, that may be a gear mechanism, that may be a fencing facility, that may be a guarding facility, all these things should be taken care by the employer. Then 56 is regarding the test and periodical examination of lifting appliances. So all these lifting appliances should be tested on a regular basis, should be examined in a periodical basis, and generally a competent person in this field should test and examine or inspect these lifting appliances every year, and main test or examination should be done at least in every 5 years. Then automatic safe load indicators are also should be mounted on these types of appliances at the construction site, because safe working load is the main key or the parameter wherefrom you can understand whether these appliances, whether these equipments are carried out or conducting all the activities in a safe mode or not. So automatic safe load indicator should be there or mounted on the mounting accessories or on the equipments or on the control panel of that equipments. Then installations that employer shall ensure at a construction site of the building or other construction work that fixed lifting appliances are installed by a competent person in a manner where the load should be calculated, the vibration should be minimized, and the other influences should also be minimized in a manner that the operator of such applications is not exposed to danger from loads, ropes, or drums, in a manner that the operator can either see over the zone of operation or communicate with all loadings and unloading points by signal or other communication systems. So with the help of these reference points, with the help of these guidelines, this installation should be done. So there should be adequate clearance between these parts and loads and different appliances. The lifting appliances, when exposed to wind loading, are given sufficient additional strength, stability, and rigidity to withstand such loading safely. Then 59 is related to the winches. So employer shall ensure at a construction site of building or other construction work that winches are not used if control levers operate with excessive friction or play. So if there is excessive friction, then we have to avoid these types of winches to be handled in the construction activities. So double gear winches are not used unless a positive means of locking the gear shift is provided. There is no load other than the fall and the hook assembly on the winch. While changing gears on a 2-gear winch, adequate protection is provided to winch operator against abnormal weather, temporary seats or shelters for which operators which may pose hazard to the winch operator or any other building workers are not allowed to be used. Control levers are secured in the neutral position and whenever possible, the power is shut off wherever winches are left unattended. So you have to take note, if you are not going to operate these winches, then you have to shut down or shut off that winches whenever there is no requirement of the operation. In use of every steam winch, measures are taken to prevent escaping steam from the obscuring any part of the construction site. Then extension control levers which lend to fall of their own weight are counterbalance. Winch operators are not permitted to use the winch control extension levers except for short handles on which type controls and that such levers are of adequate strength, secured and fastened with the metal connections. So all these things should be noted down, that the connections, then the strength of that winches, the lever, the arms, that connection with the metal strips or the fixed installation, etc. So all this care should be taken by the winch operator, whether the winch is operated on the electrical basis, that may be operated on the steam basis. Then buckets, the employer shall ensure the construction site of a building or other construction work that tip-up buckets are equipped with a device that effectively prevents accidental tipping. So we must prevent the building worker from different types of accidents which may happen due to the bucket movement. Then identification and marking of safe working load should be done at the construction site wherever applicable. Then loading of lifting appliances and lifting gears. So all the guidelines by the expert person, by the competent person, which is given for handling these types of lifting appliances and gears should be followed by the building worker. That is the main key to prevent the accident type. Then the operator should observe, should recall, should remember all the types of testing of the appliances and gear mechanism, some examinations and different types of certification if required. So inspector will take care about all these types of testing, examinations, certifications, etc. But operator also should know which type of testing, which BIS standards or other standards are required for using these appliances and their mechanism. Then 63 related to the operator's cab or cabin. So the operator of every lifting machine in outdoor source service is provided with a cab or cabin which is made of fire resistance material, has a suitable seat, a footrest and a protection from vibration, affords the operator an adequate view of the area of the operation, that is essential condition, then affords the necessary access to working parts in the cab, affords the operator adequate protection against the weather, is adequately ventilated and is provided with a suitable fire extinguisher. So fire extinguisher, fire resistance material, adequate ventilation, light systems, etc. all should be provided to the cabin or operator's cab. Then operation of lifting appliances, so that should be guided by the competent person and all the operators should go through the different types of trainings where the skills can be tested, skills can be upgraded of that operator and to prevent any type of accidents, these trainings are essential. So 18 plus years is the criteria for using these types of appliances or scaffolding. Some train operator should observe initially when the new operator is joined and handle these types of lifting appliances. So operator's attention should not be distracted while he is working. So that is why some equipments like mobiles also should be avoided while operating these types of appliances. No crane hoist, which are other lifting appliances, or any part of such crane hoist, winch or other lifting appliances is except for testing purposes loaded beyond the safe working load. So you should know what exactly the safe working load of that lifting appliances is. So all the precautionary measures should be taken by these operators who are operating these types of lifting appliances. So there may be a platform, there may be raised or lowered or slowed with any lifting appliances. So that may cause a sudden jerks. So that should be avoided. Then hoisting a barrow, any wheel of such barrow is not used as means of support unless adequate steps are taken to prevent the axle of such wheel from slipping out of its bearings. So long objects like planks or girders are provided with a tagline to prevent any possibility of danger while raising or lowering such objects, because these objects are very heavy. So due to this accident, there are chances of fatalities, there are chances of severe injury to the heads, and that is why these precautionary measures should be taken at the construction site. Then hoist. The employer shall ensure at a construction site that hoist towers are designed according to the relevant national standards. Hoist shafts are provided with rigid panels or adequate fencings. The walls of hoist shafts, except at approaches, extend to at least 2 meters above the floor or platform of access to such shafts. Approaches to a hoist are provided with gates which are gridded to maintain visibility at least 2 meters height, equipped with a device which requires such gates to closed before the platform of such hoist can leave the landing and prevent the gate from being open unless such platform is at the landing. So gate should be provided, the control of gate should be provided, that should be equipped with this hoist, and at least 2 meters is the main criteria for handling these types of hoist. So platform should be strengthened or strong in case of jamming by providing safety catches. That guidance or guides are provided for this hoist platform. Overhead beams and supports are capable of holding this total maximum live and dead loads. That such beams and supports will be required to carry a safety factor of at least 5, and a clear space is provided for moving or stopping or all the types of activities done by this hoist. So ladder way extends from the bottom to the top. Every outdoor hoist tower, in case no other ladder way exists within easy reach, and such ladder way comply with the relevant national standards. So all these platforms, safety work operations, then controls, all should be decided by complying the relevant national standards. So all these guidelines are given in these sub rules for the hoist operations. Then fencing of the means of access to the lifting appliances. We have already discussed about these the parts of the lifting appliances. That may be a pulley, that may be a gear mechanism, that may be a revolutionary part. So all these parts should be fenced to avoid the accidents. Then 67 rule is regarding the rigging of derricks. The employer shall ensure at a construction site of a building or other construction work that every derrick has current and relevant rigging plans and any other information necessary for the safe rigging of such derricks and its gear. Then 68 regarding the securing of derrick foot, 69 regarding the construction and maintenance of this lifting gear. So we have already discussed that lifting gear mechanism, lifting appliances, all these things should be taken care by the competent person, by the inspector, by the operator for regular maintenance and repairing of these types of gear mechanisms. Then testing and periodical examination of this lifting gear should be done by the competent person. So competent person will check the lifting gear mechanism in 12 months. That is the minimum criteria. Then 71 is related to the ropes. No rope is used for building or other construction work unless it is a good quality and free from patent defects. In the case of wire rope, it has been tested and examined by the competent authority with reference to the Schedule 1 annexed into these rules. So every wire rope of lifting appliance or lifting gear used for building or other construction work is inspected by a responsible person in every 3 months. So all these ropes should be tested or examined by the expertise person. So all the guidelines while selecting these types of ropes are given, like for fiber rope, for rope sling, for synthetic fibers, etc. So there are different or variety of ropes are available in the market, and before selecting these types of rope, we must study the actual operational procedures. So to avoid the accidents, we must go for the appropriate rope. Then 72 is related with the heat treatment of lifting gears. So these lifting gears required some heat treatment for better strength and better resistance for handling the different types of activities at the site. So the competent person will supervise these different parts, that may be rings, hooks, shackles, swivels, hoisting, etc. And supervision of competent person maybe for such chains, rings, hooks, shackles and swivels which are not more than 12.5 millimeter of length are so annealed at least once in every 6 months. So annealing is one of the heat treatment process that is required for these types of parts, that is for chains, rings, hooks, shackles, etc. once in every 6 months for this criteria, that is not more than 12.5 millimeter of length. All other such chains, rings, hooks, shackles, swivels are so annealed at least once in every 12 months. So depending on the length, the annealing process or the heat treatment process is required. There are different guidelines for the heat transfer, which is given by the Director General, some inspectors, some competent person for different parts of these appliances. Then there is a certificate process to be issued after actual testing and examination by the competent person, which is mentioned under this rule number 73. Then register of periodical test, examination and certificates processes or the record keeping of this certification is mentioned under this rule number 74. So whatever the requirements given under the above rules and which are given in the different forms or in the different schedules, all this should be recorded in that register. Then rule number 75 is related to the vacuum and magnetic lifting gear. So the employer shall take care or ensure about these no vacuum lifting gear, magnetic lifting gear or any other lifting gear where the load on it is held by adhesive power is used while workers are performing the operations beneath such gear. A magnetic lifting gear used in connection with the building or other construction work is provided with alternative supply of power. So it is an alternative supply of power such as batteries, which may come into operation immediately in the event of failure of the main power. So it is a additional arrangement, that is magnetic power can be used when the main power is failed. Then 76 is related to the knotting of chains and wire ropes. So the guidelines are given. No chain or wire rope with a knot in it is used in the building and other construction works. So it is restricted or limited that knotting of chains and wire rope should be avoided. Then rule number 77 related to the carrying of persons by means of lifting appliances. So we have already discussed that lifting appliances can be used to lift the object, to lift the material, and to lift the persons. So this related to the persons now. So that can be power driven lifting appliances, except on the driver's platform, in the cage of crane, on a hoist, on an approved suspended scaffold. So that can be used to lift the persons depending on the capacity of these lifting appliances, depending on the height where to carry these persons. So there should be arrangement of ventilation, lighting, then chair arrangement or cage arrangements, etc. Then rule number 78 is related to the hoist carrying persons. So employer shall ensure about these facility at the site. No building worker is carried by a hoist unless it is provided with a cage. So normally the lifting appliances are used to carry the persons. In case of an emergency situation, in case of an exception situation, then only hoist are used to carry the persons. But it is a condition that the cage should be provided to that hoist, and then and then only these persons can be carried out. Then 79 is related to the attachment of loads. So we have already discussed about the lifting appliances for material carrying. So we have to check what is the safety load factor, what is the lifting capacity, what are the conditions of these slings or ropes which are used for lifting the materials, whether the test and examinations are carried out, whether the test and examinations are up to date, whether the certificates are available for these testing and examinations, whether the competent persons have tested and examined or inspected all these parts of attachments. That may be a rope, that may be a sling, that may be a other parts. Then rule number 80 is related to the tower cranes. So no person other than the operator trained and capable to work at heights are employed to operate the tower cranes. So these tower cranes requires a separate training for operating these types of trains, and that is why only trained persons are involved for operating these types of trains. So some standards are followed for deciding the capacity of this tower crane, and base plate, the base mechanism, the strength of the base, the carrying capacity of these tower cranes, all should be tested and examined by the competent person. Then rule number 81 is related to the qualification of operator, of lifting winches, and of signaler. So for lifting winches and for signal or operator's qualification is above 18 years of age, sufficiently competent and reliable, possess the knowledge of the inherent risk involved in the operation of lifting appliances, is medically examined periodically as specified in the schedule 7 annexed to these rules. So we have to read the schedule 7 for the detailing of these operators qualifications. Then chapter 8 is focusing on the runways and ramps. So rule number 82 is related to the use of runways and ramps by the building workers. So in the emergency planning, emergency action plan, in case of some conditions due to the natural calamities, etc., some runways and ramps can be designed for moving the building workers from one place to the another place. And for that purpose, the thickness of these runways and ramps, the width of these ramps and runways, the material of construction of these ramps and runways, the safety load factor, all these things should be taken care while designing these ramps and ramps. Then rule number 83 is related to the use by vehicles. So all runways and ramps are of sound construction, strength, and securely braced and supported. Every runway or ramp for the use of transport equipment like trailers, trucks, or heavier vehicles had a width of not less than 3.7 meters, and it is provided with timber curbs or any other material of adequate strength, not less than 200 millimeters by 200 millimeters in width, placed parallel to and secure to the sides of such runway or ramp. So for providing the facility for transportation facility, these vehicles can move from one place to another with the help of these types of strong runways and ramps. Then there is a condition, that is the slope of ramps should be provided, which is mentioned by the competent person only. Then rule number 85 is related to the use by wheelbarrows, and chapter 9 is focusing on the work on or adjacent to water. So when these construction activities are going on near to water bodies, near to the water sources, then what precautions should be taken, that is mentioned under this chapter 9. So the transport by water, that may be one of the action, that is the work activity near to water. So when any building worker has to proceed or from any workplace by water for purpose of carrying on building or other construction work, proper measures to be taken care while transporting through this water. So maximum number of person which can be safely carried out should be identified, and these number of persons only should be allowed to go through the water with the transport facility. The vessel referred in clause is mainly that adequate protection is provided for these vessels. Then such vessels are manned by adequate and experienced crew as per the relevant law, that in case of bulwarks of such vessels are lower than the 60 centimeters from the level of the deck of such vessel, the open edge of such bulwarks are fitted with suitable fencing. So we have to take care about these fencing, we have to take care about the different dimensions which is mentioned in these rules, and some life buoys on deck of such vessel is at least equal to the number of crew members. So that is not less than 2. Then 87 is related to the prevention from drowning. So drowning is one of the main risk when the construction activities are near to the water. So for preventing these types of accident, we have to take care by providing suitable rescue equipment in or nearby that construction activity. Then chapter 10 is focusing on the transport and earth moving equipments. So we have already discussed in detail about these earth moving equipments, their hazards, their safety measures or precautionary measures in one of the session, that is construction activity equipments. So rule number 88 is related to the earth moving equipment and vehicles. So we have already discussed this part. Then power shovels and excavators. So these are the different equipments which is used in the excavation work. Then bulldozers, then their operating conditions, then precautionary measures, scrappers, operating conditions and their safety measures, mobile asphalt layers and finishers. Especially you have to take care about these heated asphalt, that is hydrocarbon. That may be a dangerous chemical when you are going to handle at higher temperature, and that is why gum boots, hand gloves, helmets, goggles, etc. should be provided while handling these types of chemicals. Then powers, road rollers, and the rule number 95 is regarding the general safety. So every vehicle or earth moving equipment is equipped with silencers, then tail lights, power and hand brakes, reversing alarms, searchlight for forward and backward movement, which are equipped for safe operation, and such vehicles or earth moving equipments. So all these are the simple guidelines for each and every type of earth moving equipments. So cab with all the provisions like lighting, ventilations, etc. should be provided for doing the activities when we are handling the earth moving equipments or excavator equipments. Then chapter 11 is focusing on the concrete work. So we are talking about the construction activity. That is why this concrete work is also important. So rule number 96 is related to the general provisions regarding the use of concrete. So all construction with the use of concrete or reinforced concrete are based on plans as include specifications of steel, concrete and other material to be used in such construction, give technical details regarding the methods for safe placing and handling of such materials, indicate the type, quality, arrangement of each part of a structure of such construction, and explain the sequence of steps to be taken for completion of such constructions. So we have to follow the standard procedures or standard sequence while handling these types of concretes or reinforced concretes. Then rule number 97 is related to the preparation and pouring of this concrete and erection of concrete structures. So while doing these activities, while pouring this concrete or erecting activities, we must use the gloves, then clothings, helmets, hard hats, safety goggles, proper footwear, respirator or mask to protect from the danger in such handling of these concretes. So keep as much of his body covered as is required to protect him from the danger in such handling. So all the facilities or the personal protective equipment should be provided to all the building workers while handling these types of concretes or some other chemicals. Then 98 is related to the buckets. So concrete buckets used with cranes or aerial cableways are free from projections from which accumulation of concrete could fall. So there is a possibility of falling the concrete from these buckets. So necessary arrangement should be done. Movements of concrete buckets are governed by the signals necessary to avoid any danger by such movements. Then rule number 99 is related to the pipe and pumps. So some pipes are carried the concretes, that is called as semi-solid concretes, and it is driven by the pumps. So all the safety measures should be taken care while handling these types of concretes through these pipes and pumps. Sometimes